I dug my garden every single spring for 7 years. Every single year without exception. I borrowed my neighbor's rotary tiller. I hired someone when I could not do it myself. I spent entire weekends breaking up the soil, turning it over, loosening it, aerating it, preparing it for planting. And every single year my garden looked the same by August. Pale soil, average plants, decent harvests. Nothing remarkable. Nothing that made me think the effort was producing results that justified the work. Then last spring I did something that went against everything I had ever been told about gardening. I did nothing. No tilling, no digging, no turning, no breaking up the soil at all. I just planted directly into the surface. And by harvest time my yields had doubled, not slightly improved, not marginally better. Doubled. The same beds, the same seeds, the same watering, the same location. The only difference was that I stopped destroying the thing I had spent 7 years trying to build. Today I am going to show you exactly what I did, exactly why it worked, and exactly why the gardening industry spent decades convincing you that digging was essential, when the science tells a completely different story. If you believe that your garden knows more than the tool companies want you to think it does, you are exactly where you belong. At Lost Green Knowledge, we uncover the forgotten plants, ancient growing techniques, and natural wisdom that fed entire civilizations before the modern gardening industry convinced the world that soil needed to be broken, turned, and purchased every single season. Subscribe right now and hit the notification bell, because what I discovered in my garden last season is something ancient farmers understood 10,000 years ago. And something that every piece of research published in the last 20 years has been quietly confirming. Let me tell you what I knew about soil before I tried this method. I knew that soil needed to be loose for roots to penetrate. I knew that compacted soil was bad for plant growth. I knew that turning soil in spring-exposed new organic matter killed overwintering pests and prepared a fresh seed bed. I knew that digging was simply what you did, every spring, every year. Without question. Every gardening book I had ever read said so. Every gardening program I had ever watched showed someone digging. Every gardening center I had ever visited sold spades and tillers and forks as essential tools. Digging was not a technique. It was a given. And then I started reading about what actually lives in soil. And everything I thought I knew fell apart. Here is what most gardeners have never been told about the ground beneath their feet. Soil is not dirt. Soil is not a growing medium. Soil is not a substrate that holds plants upright while you add nutrients to it. Soil is a living organism. In every single teaspoon of genuinely healthy, undisturbed soil there are more living organisms than there are human beings on the surface of the entire earth. Bacteria, fungi, protozoa, nematodes, worms, and most critically, a fungal network so complex, so precisely structured, and so biologically intelligent that scientists who study it describe it with language usually reserved for the human brain. This network is called mycorrhizal fungi, and it has been doing something extraordinary in healthy soil for over 400 million years. It connects plants, not loosely, not incidentally, directly and deliberately. The mycorrhizal network extends from the roots of one plant outward through the soil, connecting to the roots of neighboring plants, creating a biological internet through which plants exchange nutrients, water, chemical signals, and even warning messages about pest attacks. A plant connected to a healthy mycorrhizal network can access water and nutrients from an area 100 times larger than its own root system could ever reach independently. A plant connected to the network receives advance warning when neighboring plants are attacked by insects and begins producing its own defensive compounds before the attack reaches it. A plant connected to the network can receive surplus nutrients from stronger neighboring plants when it is struggling. A biological support system that no fertilizer schedule has ever replicated. This network is the hidden infrastructure of every productive garden, every thriving forest, and every natural ecosystem on Earth. And every time you put a spade or a tiller into the soil, you destroy it, not partially, not temporarily. You shred the fungal threads that took months to develop. You break the connections between plants that the network spent an entire season establishing. You expose the soil structure that the network built to air and UV light, killing billions of organisms in the process. And then you wonder why your soil needs so much fertilizer. It needs fertilizer because you removed the system that was producing it naturally. Ancient farmers who practiced no-dig did not know about mycorrhizal fungi. They did not have microscopes. They did not have soil biology research, but they watched. They watched what happened when they dug and what happened when they did not. They noticed that soil left undisturbed grew darker and richer year after year. They noticed that plants in undisturbed soil grew stronger without being fed. They noticed that the earth, left to its own intelligence, knew exactly what to do. And they built agricultural systems around that observation that fed civilizations for thousands of years. The science came later. The knowledge came first. So here is exactly what I did. In the autumn before my first no-dig season, I covered my existing garden beds with a layer of cardboard, not a thin layer, a thick, overlapping, generously applied layer of plain cardboard with no tape and no glossy coating, directly on top of the existing soil surface, on top of whatever weeds or old plant material was still there. No clearing, no removing, no preparation of any kind. On top of the cardboard, I applied a layer of compost, not dug in, not mixed, simply laid on top. 4 to 6 inches of good quality compost spread evenly across the cardboard surface. That was the entire preparation. No digging, no tilling, no breaking up the soil beneath, no removal of existing vegetation. The cardboard suppressed the weeds below by blocking all light. Over the winter and into spring it broke down completely, consumed by worms and soil organisms, adding its own carbon to the soil in the process. The compost on top became the planting medium for the new season, rich, loose, biologically active, and full of the exact organisms and nutrients that my plants would need. Below the cardboard and compost layer, the existing soil, undisturbed for the first time in years, began to change. The worms that had been disrupted every spring by my annual tilling began to establish permanent tunnel networks. The mycorrhizal fungi that had been shredded every year began to build connections that were not interrupted. The bacteria and microorganisms that had been exposed and killed by tilling began to colonize the soil at every depth simultaneously. By the time I planted my seeds and transplants into the compost surface in spring, directly, with minimal soil disturbance, I was planting into the most biologically active soil my garden had ever contained. And the plants knew it immediately. The first thing I noticed was germination rate. Seeds planted into the undisturbed compost surface germinated faster and more completely than any seeds I had planted in tilled soil before. Not 1 or 2 days faster. Consistently 3 to 5 days faster, with germination rates visibly higher than previous years. The second thing I noticed was early growth speed. Within 2 weeks of germination, the seedlings in my no-dig beds were visibly ahead of the same varieties I had grown in previous years. Thicker stems, deeper green color, more vigorous growth from the very beginning. By week 4, the difference was becoming difficult to explain to visitors without sounding like I was exaggerating. The plants simply looked different, more alive, more robust, more connected to the soil beneath them in a way that I could see but could not yet fully explain. By midsummer, I had stopped trying to explain it and simply started documenting it. Tomatoes that had given me 30 to 40 fruits per plant in previous years were giving me 60 to 80. Courgettes that had produced adequately before were producing so abundantly that I was giving bags of them to neighbors every week. Beans that had always needed multiple sowings to fill my beds came up thick and complete from a single sowing and produced continuously through the entire season. The soil between plants stayed moist longer after rain. Weeds were dramatically fewer. The cardboard layer had broken the cycle of weed seeds. That had been waiting in the disturbed surface soil. The few weeds that did appear came out effortlessly because the compost surface was loose and uncompacted. At harvest, I weighed everything doubled. Not every individual crop exactly doubled. Some were 50% more. Some were 150% more. But the overall weight of food produced from the same beds in the same season was double what I had produced the year before. From not digging, from leaving the soil alone. From trusting the intelligence of a living system that had been managing itself perfectly for 400 million years before I arrived with my tiller. I want to be honest about one thing. The no-dig method is not magic. It is not instant. The full depth of its benefit builds over multiple seasons as the soil biology beneath becomes increasingly rich and complex. What I experienced in my first season was the beginning of a transformation, not the completion of one. By the second no-dig season, my soil had improved further. By the third, it had become something I would not have believed possible from the pale, compacted ground I started with. Ancient farmers practicing no-dig for generations had soil that historians describe as black. Deep, rich, and seemingly inexhaustible. That is what you are building, not a quick fix. A permanent living system that gets better every single year you leave it alone. The modern gardening industry sells you the opposite of this. It sells you the idea that soil needs to be broken, turned, amended, fertilized, and managed intensively, because intensive management requires tools, fertilizers, soil conditioners, pest controls, and all the other products that make the industry profitable. No-dig requires almost nothing you can buy. A cardboard box from the recycling bin, whatever compost you can make or source locally, and the discipline to put the spade down and trust what the earth already knows. Lost green knowledge exists because this information belongs to every gardener who has spent years working harder than they needed to and wondering why their results never matched their effort. You were not doing it wrong. You were doing what you were told. And what you were told served the industry that told you, not the garden you were trying to grow. The soil beneath your feet has been waiting for this. Every season you tilled it, it tried to rebuild what you broke. Every season you leave it alone, it builds something you have never seen before. If this video gave you something real today, a single season result that made you question everything you thought you knew about growing food, please leave a like. It tells YouTube that this knowledge deserves to reach every gardener who is still digging every spring and wondering why the effort never quite pays off. Subscribe to Lost Green Knowledge for more forgotten techniques, ancient growing wisdom, and practical natural methods that your garden has been waiting for. And share this with every gardener you know who is still hiring someone to till their beds every spring. Because somewhere beneath those beds right now, the soil is waiting to show them what it can do, if they would just leave it alone.